At last, Bennett's apartment building. Shouldn't be too hard to find a fire escape to get up there. I'll go up to his penthouse, steal the recordings of my therapy sessions, and find out what happened on Mala Island once and for all. Okay, now! Darn it. I can't take the luxury of going into the street again, or someone might recognize me, so I better just do what I came here for. Bad news. There's no sign of a fire escape. I'll have to find some other way into the building. I used it as a hiding place when I got to the alley. Filth, trash, and garbage. And a half-empty can of paint. Okay, technically that's just garbage too. But it's so shiny and pretty. I'd rather not get any closer while there's people hanging around. I don't want anybody to recognize me. Let's make a preliminary attempt. The manhole cover is so thick and the hole so small that I could never lift it with my bare hands, not even with the tried and true technique of sticking in my pinky finger. Francacella? This graffiti could be a reference to just about anything, from the artist himself to a new type of illegal rave. Locked. The end is here. Have a nice...
This here's Bennett's apartment building.
Come on, let's cut through here.
No, let's go another way. Or do you want to stay to chum around with the bums?
I'm shocked. I'm terribly saddened to hear this. The doctor he was a very close friend, so all we can do for him now, and especially for Brian, is watch this.
Patient, Brian Basco, session 25, October the 6th, 2008.
Good, Brian. Before continuing with your memories, would you like to go over what you've been explaining to me in your latest sessions?
Yes.
All right. Everything began during your vacation in Hawaii, correct?
Yes. Gina hired Otto, an old German pilot, to take us on a day trip to Mala Island. I think Otto had a heart attack. When we flew over a big lake, I threw Gina out the door with the only parachute on board. And then I tried to land the plane.
What happened when you attempted the crash landing on Mala Island?
Otto had vanished. I found a military camp by the lake. I asked the soldiers if they'd seen Gina, and I talked to their main officer, Colonel Kordsmeyer. He told me he hadn't seen her, but I could tell he was hiding something. So I decided to infiltrate the camp and search for her.
Tell me how it all started again.
Yes. Gina hired Otto, an old German pilot, to take us on a day trip to Mala Island. I think Otto had a heart attack. When we flew over a big lake, I threw Gina out the door with the only parachute on board. And then I tried to land the plane.
Tell me about how you found the military camp again.
Otto had vanished. I found a military camp by the lake. I asked the soldiers if they'd seen Gina, and I talked to their main officer, Colonel Kordsmeyer. He told me he hadn't seen her, but I could tell he was hiding something. So I decided to infiltrate the camp and search for her.
Tell me about how you infiltrated Kordsmeyer's camp.
I knew Kordsmeyer was waiting for a scientist to come visit. Thanks to O'Connor, a really dumb soldier, I was able to impersonate the scientist, but I couldn't find Gina. Still, I discovered clues that something weird was happening in the lake, and also that the only person who'd know what was going on was this guy named Professor Simon in Alaska.
Tell me about your trip to Alaska.
When I found Professor Simon's house somewhere in the middle of Alaska, he told me the unbelievable truth. At the bottom of the lake on Mala Island, there was a spacecraft from the planet Trantor. With the help of an alien accomplice, Kordsmeyer stole some energy stones from the Trantorians, and without them, these aliens would die for sure. He would only return them in exchange for a technologically advanced Trantorian weapon.
What was the relationship between Gina and the extraterrestrials?
When Gina fell into the lake, they rescued her and took her to their ship. She had gunshot wounds, probably inflicted at the orders of Kordsmeyer. They tried everything they could to heal her, but without the energy stones, Gina would soon die.
Did you get the extraterrestrials' energy stones back?
Getting the stones Kordsmeyer had stolen was impossible. But with some friends' help, I found another piece of Trentonite. It had been hidden for centuries in a pirate ship at the bottom of the Pacific. I got that stone and returned to Mala Island.
Okay, Brian. I guess this is about as far as we can go with our review of prior sessions. Let's delve into unknown territory at last. In the fantasies that your memory seems to recognize as reality, did you manage to deliver the energy stone to the Trantorians and save Gina's life?
It's all a bit confusing.
Just try, Brian. Did you get to the lake without being seen by the soldiers?
Yes, there was a turtle. I followed one of them in order to sneak onto the ship, but Kordsmeyer, Tarantula, and their troops were a few steps ahead of me. I took out one of the guards and put on his uniform, then they saw me. To reach the heart of the spacecraft, I was going to have to do it the hard way. In the end, I made it to a sealed chamber. My sixth sense told me where I was supposed to place the Trentonite. And that's how I managed to get the Trentonite to Alpha, the leader of the Trantorian ship.
It's fascinating that your mind is able to believe all of these wild adventures, Brian. Let us continue. Were the Trantorians able to regain control of their ship?
Yeah, Alpha woke up the rest of the crew, and they attacked the soldiers and took Kordsmeyer prisoner, as well as Tarantula and the alien trader who'd stolen their energy stones.
So, the good little Martians had a field day with the bad old humanoids, right?
Yeah, Alpha woke up the rest of the crew, and they attacked the soldiers and took Kordsmeyer prisoner, as well as Tarantula and the alien trader who'd stolen their energy stones.
And then what? Don't tell me the Trantorians themselves took Kordsmeyer to the authorities.
No, they used a mind control device, so I'd do it for them. By activating it, I could take control of Kordsmeyer's body while I just sat there, motionless. And by controlling the Colonel, I could make him confess his crimes to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Colonel Jerome D. Chapman, who would no doubt arrest him. I had to do this fast, because after 1 hour, the person using the mind control device loses his powers and the device disintegrates.
Would it bother you to tell me how the Trantorians planned to get Kordsmeyer to turn himself in again?
No, they used a mind control device, so I'd do it for him. By activating it, I could take control of Kordsmeyer's body while I just sat there, motionless. And by controlling the Colonel, I could make him confess his crimes to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Colonel Jerome D. Chapman, who would no doubt arrest him. I had to do this fast, because after 1 hour, the person using the mind control device loses his powers and the device disintegrates.
By the way, how was Gina during all this?
Luckily, she was fine, but she was still unconscious. Alpha told me she would still take a while to wake up, and that afterwards she wouldn't remember a thing. But I didn't care. I finally got to see her again, alive and safe and sound.
Good thing Gina was out of danger, right?
Luckily, she was fine, but she was still unconscious. Alpha told me she would still take a while to wake up, and that afterwards she wouldn't remember a thing. But I didn't care. I finally got to see her again, alive and safe and sound.
In other words, the Trantorians left you with this hot potato and took off. The nerve.
They said that Earth had become too hazardous for them, and that they would never return. They vanished in utter silence. Nobody saw them appear, and nobody saw them when they left.
In other words, the only gift they gave you was this device, which you say would stop working after 1 hour.
In addition to the device, they gave me a very special gift. However, they insisted I be careful. Trentonite is powerful, so I had to keep it from falling into the wrong hands.
Let's go over everything again. The Martians gave you the Trentonite and a device to control Kordsmeyer's brain with, and then they left. And what happened to all of you who were inside the ship?
Alpha told me the soldiers would be beamed back to the military camp, and that all of their memories about the spacecraft would be erased instantaneously. As for me, I appeared inside of Colonel Kordsmeyer's tent. I could still control everything he did. I could see myself holding on to the mind control device. Then I remembered what Alpha had said. I had 1 hour to make sure Kordsmeyer was put in jail before the device would disintegrate. Just 1 hour.
How am I going to do this? I've got to get Kordsmeyer and Tarantula arrested. But as soon as that happens, then Trantonite will probably get taken away. I'm not sure how I'll set things up, but within an hour, the Colonel and his mercenary will be behind bars, and my Trantonite will be in a place where nobody can find it but me. Inside is the gift Alpha gave me for helping the Trantorians. A piece of Trantonite, the only one left on Earth. I'll take it. Great. Now I just have to hide it somewhere. Well, not that I care much, but it may be a good way to get rid of all the evidence that the Trantorians ever visited this pretty little island. Let's see now. First I pull the pin, then I put the grenade inside the capsule, I close the capsule, I walk outside, I throw the capsule towards the lake, and boom! If nobody sees me, cool. And if they do see me, well, I'm supposed to be the man in charge around here, aren't I? So go for it. Gentlemen, you have to be extremely careful when handling grenades. Never, I mean never, in any case, pull the pin before the right time. Oops, a grenade with a USB connection. What did they come up with next? Well, I guess as long as I don't get too far from the mind control device and I keep an eye on the entrance so nobody sneaks in, I shouldn't get into any trouble.
Marine Zachariah O'Connor at your orders. My colonel, my sir, my Semper Fi, sir.
Oh, how nice.
I'm here, my sir, colonel.
I would have never guessed.
Dang it, sir. I mean, I'm not there anymore, my colonel.
Unbelievable. And where is there?
There, sir, my colonel. Where their mission is.
Look, soldier, let's get things straight. Do you even know what Semper Fide means?
Yes, sir. If you yell a lot, it means you're a Marine, sir. I yell it when I don't know what to say, my colonel. Semper Fi.
Semper Fide means ever loyal.
Why, shoot, sir. You just described me. I'm as loyal as a dog. Marine Zachariah O'Connor, always loyal.
What is that mission you were talking about?
Shoot, sir. You're the one who said, give the mission to the dumbest and most unessential soldier in the regiment, sir. And that's me, sir. Marine Zachariah O'Connor. Semper Fi.
What does the mission I asked you to perform consist of?
Recovering the box of Havana cigars for my colonel from the deepest part of the Hawaiian jungle. Sir, my colonel.
I would like a report on this cigar-related mission.
Sir, I'm an I can't write.
Then report to me orally.
Wait, is that where the suppositories go?
Oral means by speaking.
Sir, yes, sir. The helicopter performed the Havana cigar drop far away, at the wrong coordinates on the island. Colonel, they were in the middle of the jungle, so I headed there. More scared than embarrassed, sir.
Why were you afraid to go into the jungle?
Monkeys, sir! Those sneaky monkeys that tried to steal my cap and threw coconuts at me.
Couldn't you defend yourself from the monkeys?
Yes, sir! I glued my cap to my scalp using the regulation glue, my colonel. The bad thing is that the monkeys didn't have your cigars, sir!
I'm taking away the glue you used to glue your cap onto your head.
That's the regulation survival glue, sir! It's all yours, sir!
I wasn't familiar with this brand, soldier. It's full of coconuts. Okay. They grow some fine coconuts around here. It's twice as big as the ones they sell at those upscale supermarkets in New York. O'Connor is so oblivious that he's not even surprised by the fact that I, the colonel who ordered him to get the cigars back, haven't even put them in my tent yet. I don't smoke, but what the heck? 1982? That thing is older than I am. I know that sounds weird because of my current appearance, but try not to forget that I'm actually a debonair collegiate youth with handsome blue eyes. Soldier, your courage, valor, and intelligence will not go unrewarded. Would you like a cigar?
Yes, sir, my colonel. Thank you.
Enjoy it, soldier. But how dare you? Smoking in the presence of an officer. Are you looking to be court-martialed? I will turn a blind eye to your lack of discipline because of who I am. But the next time this happens, I will turn your pathetic little life into a living hell. Got that?
I shall accept my punishment with honor and integrity, sir.
Okay, I confess that was a bit cruel of me, but Kordsmeyer's body seems to have kept a grip on its innate rage and evil disposition. And I just had to get it out somehow. Okay, I'll use the other knife for leverage, too, just in case. While I was at it, I drank the coconut milk inside and ate the meat. It was amazingly tasty. Not the best hiding place in the world, but at least it'll be out of sight and has a protective shell. Right, if I do this, it'll be a lot harder to figure out that the Trantonite is inside. In any case, I still have to find a way to keep the soldiers from finding it when they come to arrest Kordsmeyer. Great idea. Soldier!
Yes, sir! Colonel! Sir!
I'm gonna give you a coconut. I know you have a lot of them already, but this one here's special.
Does it bite?
No. What you gotta do with it is hide the thing.
In the place where I put my suppositories.
No. Well, not necessarily. Put it wherever you want, but hide the thing. I don't want anyone to know you've got it.
I'll protect it with my life. That coconut is now worth more than my own head, my colonel.
Good. You only give it to someone who says this password to you. We all know the truth. Life consists of how we choose to distort it.
We all know the truth. Life consists of how we choose to distort it. Sir, password memorized. My colonel, sir.
Perfect. When all this is over and things calm down, either Gina or I could go find O'Connor, give him the password, and get the Trantonite back. Let's see now.
What would you like, my colonel? I was about to go to bed and...
Number 1, nobody goes to bed here until I give the order. Number 2, who the hell am I talking to?
It's me, Leslie, your son. I mean, your secretary, my colonel.
Oh, yeah. All right, then.
Who would you like to speak with, my colonel?
Get Lieutenant Colonel Chapman on the horn.
As you wish.
Sir.
What would you do if I told you I'd betrayed my country?
My opinion has not wavered. I will be forced to arrest you, sir.
Don't you budge from your station. I want to be able to locate you for the whole next hour.
I shall do as you say, sir.
Refresh my memory. What is it we're doing on this island?
Sir, I don't understand. We're waiting for the scientists to get here so they can examine the meteorite with our protection. According to their speculations, it is at the bottom of the lake.
I just wanted to check whether you were still at your station. Excellent idea. Maybe I'll find some files that demonstrate Kordsmeyer's fraudulent activities to help him get arrested. Nada. Either I'm a computer moron, or I just can't locate them. Or maybe Kordsmeyer is a true genius and keeps any files that might incriminate him somewhere else. Okie doke. Let's see if I get lucky and find some explosive information. I hit the jackpot. The USB grenade contains information on lots of different fraudulent activities Kordsmeyer has taken part in. The money he embezzled from the military budgets, hiring Tarantula. There's enough in here to get him to rot in jail for a couple of consecutive life sentences. Get Lieutenant Colonel Chapman on the horn.
As you wish.
Sir.
Lieutenant Colonel Chapman, come to my tent immediately. I order you to arrest me, along with Tarantula, my accomplice, for the crimes of embezzlement, fraud, and abuse of power. Since I may eventually deny all this, let me mention that the documents which prove it that...
Keep still, soldier boy.
So long, soldier boy.
After hearing Brian Basco's deeply buried and confused memories, these are my conclusions regarding what really took place on Mala Island. The Army arrived to provide backup for a scientific operation, observing the falling of a small meteorite in the central lake on Mala Island. With the help of the mercenary, who Basco refers to as Tarantula, Colonel Kordsmeyer intended to steal the core of the meteorite, or in other words, the Trantonite, before the scientists arrived. When Brian Basco showed up, asking for Gina, who had fallen into the lake from an airplane, the colonel decided to get rid of him without providing any further explanation. With the Army refusing to help, Basco stole some diving equipment and the military uniform he mentioned. And he rescued Gina, who was lying unconscious in an underwater cave inhabited by sea turtles, which he referred to as the Trantorian spacecraft and its alien crew. He was exhausted and nearly frozen to death. This explains his paranoid inventions related with Alaska. He made it to the surface with Gina and got some help from the military in the end. And while they were waiting inside of a tent, Kordsmeyer came in to make sure they didn't know anything about his plans. That is the moment Tarantula chose to betray the colonel in order to steal the coveted meteorite core herself. She put a gun in Brian Basco's hand at a time when he didn't even have the strength to move. She held her hand over Brian Basco's, forcing him to press the trigger. And she shot Kordsmeyer. Going into shock clouded Basco's memory. And in the meantime, Tarantula escaped. Chapman detained Basco, committed suicide months later. I don't have a clue who Tarantula woman really is, but I trust that if we find her, life will become a lot easier for Brian Basco.
Allow me to explain the situation to you, Judge. You will write up a report declaring Brian Basco guilty, based on the evidence found by Dr. Bennett.
That evidence doesn't exist.
It does. The recordings from the hypnotherapy sessions, Chapman's email.
Both prove he's innocent.
They'll never know. Tonight, Gina Timmons will force open the door of this house and she'll destroy all the evidence.
You'll never get that report, even if you threaten to kill me.
You're already dead. After destroying the evidence, Gina will shoot you 5 times, point blank. After that, she'll take the gun, put it in her own mouth, and...
Have you no scruples? You planned it all out?
Not everything. My dilemma, dear Judge, is whether to order 2 coffins or 3. Start writing.
Man, a few years ago, that day I fell down dancing and dislocated my thumb, I would have never imagined I would actually be thankful for new flexibility in my thumb. Otherwise, I'd still be stuck in those handcuffs. And as for opening them with a tie pin, well, we all have a past, but getting back to the present. I can't escape or I run the risk that Tarantula will make Gabbo and Judge Whitley pay for it. So I guess all I can do is try to ask for help. But how? And from who? Looks like the same bum we saw when we got here. Assuming he's just asleep or drunk, I've clearly found someone to ask for help now. This isn't going to be easy, though, since he's at least 10 floors down. And if I yell, Tarantula will hear me before that bum does. Smells nice. Clean, unironed clothes. Let's see if there's anything useful in there. Pretty scarf. Take that? Impossible. I'd say I have It's brand new. I think I've come up with better ideas before. I think I've come up with better ideas before. It's empty. Take that? Impossible. Take that? Impossible. I'll just take one. Citrus Splash Extreme Juice. How lame. Okay, but while I'm at it, I have emptied every single one on the shelves to make sure the bucket was nice and full. Iron it? I think not, but call the cops. I think it's obvious what I'll be using it for. That sounds good. A juice bath will certainly wake that bum up. I'll let the scarf hang out of the window so he sees my message after the juice in the bucket spills on him and wakes him up.
Oh, I don't believe it. I'm going to have to tie you up now.